wait for, and we'll just welcome Claudette when she arrives.
Okay.
She's attempting to get on with a hotspot. So, welcome everybody to the second video conference call for Certified Course Leader Training on this, what is today? September the
16th.
16th? Yeah, 2017. So let's begin by speaking the Course Leader Creed. Can we do that together?
Yes.
Let's see how we doing these days. Okay, here we go. We
hold
Transformation as a possibility
at
any time, any place, and with anyone.
Being
Being
generous
generous
We bridge the gap
between insurmountable odds
and
and what is
what's
possible,
allowing
ourselves
ourselves
and
and others
to
to
live
live lives
a life of dignity,
integrity,
and
and
aliveness.
aliveness.
not bad. Yay! Let's acknowledge that. Woo! Oh my. So let's begin with an integrity check-in. So rating yourself from 0 to 100, or 0 to 10. Let's do 0 to 10. Let's do 3 areas like we would with the participants that we are coaching. Let's look at our relationships with family, our education. It should be 100 given that we're in this course, and self, our well-being. Okay, so let's check in. Who'd like to go first?
This is Dickie.
Okay.
So family 10, education 10, and self and well-being 10.
Okay, so let's throw in some others, Dickie. How about finances, romance, and making the bed up? Since we
So financially a 9, and relationships 10.
Okay. Who's next?
I'll go next.
Wait.
Go next.
Okay. Go, Tabo.
So, relationship 9, education 10, and well-being 8.
Finances.
9.
Romance.
100. 10. Super 10.
Great. Next.
I'll go next.
Did I interrupt?
So,
Did I go? Can
Uh-huh.
you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So family 100 or 10, romance non-existing, finance a 5, friendships, relationships, if that's what you were referring to, I would say a 10.
Relationships, Diane, is with family members.
Okay, because I don't know, I see relationships with a bunch of people, but if it's family, then it varies. Immediate family. Outside family, maybe an 8. What was the other one?
Finances.
Say about a 5, 6.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it, right?
Yeah, well, you can talk about making your bed, but that's okay. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. So it's non-existent. So we don't have to even go there.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
I could go.
Okay.
So, romance, 9. Finances, 5. Relationships, 8. Education, 8. Well-being, 7.
Thank you.
And making the bed today didn't happen, but it usually does happen. That's the one thing I usually do have handled.
Okay. I take this call from Claudette. Hi, honey. Your Apple ID password, Lord. Hold on. Apple ID password.
Diane?
Yeah, which one?
Gabe, which one is last name Gabriel?
Yes, all areas are 10.
Wow. Okay. Thank you.
Hmm.
So I'll go next. So for relationships, a 10. For, I can't even remember them all. Well-being is probably like a 4. Finances is about a 7. Education is a 100%. I guess we'll go 100. Romance, I'm not sure how to answer that. And let's see, finance, did I miss anything?
Romance.
0.
Okay, I'm gonna text you it. Is that everybody?
I'll go next. Okay, so family, 10. Finance, 6. Romance, 7. Making the bed, it didn't happen today, but normally it happens, so 9.5. Education, 7. And well-being, 8.
Thank you.
So I didn't go yet. So I think almost everything's like an 8. So finance is an 8. Education is an 8. Families an 8. I'd say well-being is actually like a 7. And I don't know, romance is a weird one because I don't really like romance and I'm not having any romance, so it's kind of like also an 8, you know. So yeah, that's it.
That's funny. Money, you're not having any, you don't like it, but it's still an 8. Okay.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
an 8 because it's not like getting in my way, so it's like not a problem. So
Okay. All right, y'all. That's great. Let me see if Claudette's going to be able to get in here. She needed an Apple password. Lord have mercy. Okay. So I would like to we actually want to spend some time today with coaching and taking a look at the difference that coaching is, they distinguished from helping, advising, managing, like that. So for a moment, just take a look for yourself. What would you say is distinguishes coaching? What is helping? What is advising? What is managing? A project in particular, different, say, for your understanding of what coaching a project looks like. Just think about that for a moment. I think I'm going to bring Claudette in on her telephone. See if I can do that. Shoot. Okay, Claudette.
Emmanuel.
apologize. They're supposed to be downstairs, but they just love this. I'm gonna put them in mute so that they don't disturb.
Oh, they're just gorgeous, Lizette.
So cute.
Gorgeous. Look at Mateo. I see you.
Okay, go play with Susie.
Emmanuel. Oh, my. So,
Hello.
Okay, yeah, Emmanuel, go over there. Puppy, okay.
so with someone to begin the conversation, what would you say is helping? What would you say is advising? What is managing in your sense of that? I'm not asking you to look it up in a dictionary. I'm just asking you a sense of those three, different and coaching. So someone start the conversation, please. And then chime in as people, as you begin to think about it, if you agree, disagree, if you have something else going on about it, add to it. It's not really about agreeing or disagree. It's really about, let's get a big picture of what each one of those looks like to you. So who'd like to begin? I'm going to just step away for a moment. So just have the conversation because I need to move to get Claudette on this, okay?
Hi, it's Diane. I think advising is more telling somebody how to get to where they need to get to, whereas coaching is drawing out what it is that they know they need to do to get to where they want to get to. So it's their agenda, whereas advising would be more, it's tricky because it could end up being your own agenda.
I'd say it's discovering a person, helping somebody to discover for themselves their potential and being able to, through asking a lot of questions and inquiring, to really find out the direction and being able to support them in that process.
I agree with that, and also I think the management is to make sure that they do it. But I heard more like babysitting. Did you do it? Did you do it? Did you do it? So it's more completely different than coaching. I think that coaching is to inspire somebody to see something that they cannot see and that they're ready to work in something in their life. And instead of babysitting and telling them what to do, kind of like what Diana said, but also the managing part for me is to continue doing a check-in list. Yeah.
For me, coaching is basically listening to someone as their word and holding them accountable to it, and asking questions and giving feedback on what you're observing, but all in the interest of helping them keep their word and making them present to what's possible if they keep their word and what is at stake if they break their word. I think helping is like you're actually doing it with them. The other one, what were the management is, yeah, like Tago pretty much said it, like just make sure they get it done. And even like fire them if they don't do it, right? It's not that much interested in that person. It's more in the interest in the task. And then what was the other one? There was one other one.
Advising.
Advising. Oh, that's just telling them what to do. So with coaching, you're not telling them exactly what to do, but you're asking questions and holding them accountable to do what they said they would do, as opposed to telling them what to do.
Okay, excuse me a minute. Dickie, can you give me the phone number that Claudette can call in on?
Yes. Give me 1 second. It is 1-408-638-0968, and the meeting ID is 522-302-136. Do you want me to text it to her?
Okay, good. Text it.
Yeah.
You got it?
Got it. Sent.
Yeah, he's sending it now. Okay, I'm gonna hang up. Wait. Okay. You're welcome. Okay, she's moving to get on. Can you, someone just kind of, I wasn't really listening.
Yeah.
What do we have so far as a compilation of helping, advising, managing, juxtaposed to coaching? Somebody just summarize that.
Yeah. So what we got was coaching is a lot of asking questions, having the participants stay present to the possibility and have them discover. Helping is more like doing for them, like some more action-based. Advising is just telling and sharing information. And then managing is more the how to accomplish the goal, and you're just managing the how-tos and managing checklists.
Okay. So what distinguishes?
Thank you, I'm here.
Hey.
Hi, Claudette.
Hey, Claudette.
Hi, hi. And I'm really disappointed because I have on the most fabulous outfit. I went to get a professional makeup job, and now you guys can't see me. Thank you.
Take a picture and send it to all of us, Claudette.
No, 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 no.
We can hear how beautiful you look.
Thank you, Veronica Victoria. Ade, what am I entering? Because you know I'm only here for a couple of hours.
Yeah, so, okay, someone else besides Dickie, say again. We're entering into a conversation of the difference between helping, advising, managing, and coaching. Somebody else.
Share.
Good.
I'll share. Yeah, so Claudette, what we are distinguishing is coaching is, inspiring somebody to see what's possible, and to do that by listening for the possibility inside the person, and listening for their word and standing for their word, and asking questions and inviting them into an inquiry. Helping is doing for. Advising is telling them what to do or giving them information. And managing is, checking in, did they do it? It's like, managing the checklist.
Oh, Ade, can I enter?
You got it, yeah.
Okay. So thank you, Patty. I think all of that is accurate, and all of that is elements of coaching. And before, are Kevin and Katie on the call as well?
No.
Okay. So before we can get into coaching, we have the distinction. Raise your hand if you don't know the distinction Burger King, McDonald's. Is anybody raising their hand out there?
No one's raising their hand.
So everybody's clear about Burger King.
The two Dianes, I can't tell. They're on phone without picture.
Okay. So Burger King, McDonald's, I'll just say it. And I did Burger King and McDonald's with the two Dianes. Is that everybody, both industries, both corporations sell hamburgers, but their brand is different. The hamburger is different. They just don't call a Big Mac a quarter pounder. They're two distinct things. So what we want to do is distinguish what is coaching inside of this curriculum not what's general coaching in the world because it's not a match. Within this curriculum, we coach projects. If there's not a project, and a project could be something that happens in the next hour, a step in the next hour, something over a month, 3 years. If there isn't a project, there isn't coaching. You have to have a project because we do goal-directed mentoring. Now, a project could be, and a project always comes from the person. So the project, someone could say, I choose to be a mentor for the next 9 months, and that is the project. Once the person makes a declaration, and the declaration is, I'm going to invent a future that is distinct from the present. In some moment of time, I'm going to have something that or accomplish something that I currently don't have. Without the person making that declaration, and all of our projects are specific, measurable results in time. So I'm going to be a mentor. I'm going to get a job. I'm going to clean my room. Whatever those projects are, it has to be a project in which a stranger can observe the outcome. So a project can't be, I want to feel better about myself, because a stranger wouldn't be able to observe that. So it's almost like the cat's on the mat. Can you see the cat on the mat? Yes, the cat's on the mat. That's a project. If you can't see it, it's not a project. Questions so far?
Nope.
Feedback? No questions?
No.
No feedback?
It's so that if a stranger can observe it, it's like that there's some hypothetical to that, right, Claudette? Because a stranger wouldn't necessarily be with someone 24/7, but it is observable, right?
No, the stranger is there at the completion of the project. So or a milestone in the project. So if I'm going to be a mentor and there's steps to be a mentor, which is I will fill out my application by da-da-da-da-da. So when the by da-da-da comes, a stranger will be able to see I have the application.
Mm-hmm.
The stranger doesn't have to be, it has to be observable at any point. I promise I'm going to clean my room, and today I'm going to clean out my underwear drawer. I come, I look in your underwear drawer. If it's clean, you fulfilled your the action you were going to perform.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that you were working with someone who's promised not to drink.
Mm-hmm.
That is not, I'm going to keep saying it. I'm going to keep saying what I say. it's not the kind of projects that we use in this curriculum. It could be a project someplace else, but it's not an observable, measurable result with, if they say, I'm going to not drink at I don't know. I don't know how to make that a project inside of what we're doing here. I'm not going to say it's not a project, but I think I had this conversation with you the last time. I don't see that as a project.
No,
because a stranger can't observe it.
Well, a stranger could observe the opposite.
No, the opposite is not a project.
Well, okay.
What is the specific measurable result in time, and what's the milestone? So let me tell you one other thing before you get there. Yeah. And you'll get this in the next distinction you're going to learn, which is the weak wing, strong wing. We'll move into that. A project is not something you don't do. Mm-hmm. A project is something in which you have to begin to use your weak wing to practice and accomplish something. Mm-hmm. Most people fail in life because even when you stop doing something, if you don't start, if the eagle just stopped using his strong wing, he still couldn't fly. Mm-hmm. A project is when you do take actions that you haven't been taking actions in. You take actions that you haven't been taking before, and you do it consistently and persistently until something new shows up.
Got it.
I have a question, Claudette, and I know we.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Patty, give me where are you now?
Okay. Where am I now regarding what? So I see what you're saying is it's not a knot. It is what action. It's engaging the weak wing consistently on a regular basis over time. So because the thing that I have in the background with you is with this particular project, you're going to do, you may listen and manipulate what I'm saying so that you can keep the project because you're committed to the project. Or I might just I might be committed to the project and just have to find another project for this work.
Well, we established that last month. And it didn't make any difference. Right,
but okay. I had a couple of conversations in between where I thought that I had a conversation with Ade, who gave me some coaching to have a conversation with a person, and so I thought it was going to be a project, and now I'm hearing it's not a project, so I'll just let go of it.
And how come it's not a project now?
Because you're saying it's not a project.
No, I don't want it because I want you to know. What criteria does it not fulfill? Inside of projects with this curriculum. So that it's not that, I don't want to leave you with Claudette doesn't like the project.
So Patty, can you go back to the distinction that we talked about a breakthrough project being?
Yeah, I have that here. So I have that a breakthrough project is an observable result created and declared by a player to be completed and sustained by a specific time that's never before been accomplished. In the end, the player experiences an altered sense of self, which okay. So I can really only, I think, focus on the beginning part because I don't know. So Claudette, I don't want this to become an argument. Okay, so I don't want you to hear me like I'm fighting for my project. If it's not project, it's not project. I'm okay to let it go. Okay.
No,
but
I don't hear you as fighting
okay
for the project. But see, it's not all right with me that you let it go. It's all what I want you to get mapped onto the distinctions, because if you don't map it onto the distinctions and know what a project is, you run into this again.
Yeah. So I'm gonna. Can we just like I am right now, I guess, not clear on what a project is, because I'm not even clear on what a project is for myself. I don't have a project myself. So
I know, that's why we're having this conversation, and that's
right.
part of the stuff that you're going to be doing this afternoon.
Right.
Is you're going to really look to see if you have a project, because if you this is the meat of our work, goal-directed behavior in projects. And without clarity about projects, we can't coach.
Right. I got it.
Without clarity of projects, we can try to inspire, we can advise, we can manage, we can cajole, but it won't be powerful coaching.
Yeah.
So, given what I said about projects, because and the reason the two Dianes, this is the work that we're in, and the reason the staff of this new, of their second year program is in, because this is it. Everything that we do is in a promise and specific measurable results and outcomes and observables. And you only get to those prompt completion of a project by a series of promises.
Mm-hmm.
Promises to perform an action. Here it is, a promise to perform an action. So with the person who wants to stop drinking, what is the action that person is committed to perform?
Well, I guess if it were a project, they would promise. They would take promises to.
No, no. Right now, you have this as a project. What is the promise she's committed to perform?
Right now?
Yeah, inside of the project. What is the action she's come?
The promise is attending meetings, talking to a sponsor, and abstaining from drinking. And working steps.
Claudette, are you there?
Yeah, I'm trying on what she just said. Okay. the and she has how many meetings and how many phone calls and da da da, all of that written, like you're clear. She's how many meetings a week she's going to go to, and blah blah blah.
Yeah, yes, I'm seeing that there could be more around that. She did lay out a plan for how many meetings and progress on steps and how often she'd meet with her sponsor and things like that. That is written down, but anyway, the rest of it is, I'm not sure I've executed on coaching as well as I could have, but all that is documented, yes.
So then you did have movement making this into a project from last time. Last time she was just not going to drink. And so now you have some structure.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's look at so Patty, you may have shaped this into a project.
Okay.
Okay. So let's go to so this is something she's been putting up with or trying to change for some time.
Yes.
Okay, that meets that criteria.
Yes.
And when is the project over?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, one of the things, so the project for the scope of the project within the project is through the middle of December, right? And so she's never had more than 30 days of sobriety since she was a young teen. So.
And so what is her project?
Well, originally it was to go 100 days without drinking.
And then did it change?
Well, it hasn't changed, but it hasn't been, she's struggling, let's put it that way.
Okay, but the project is to abstain from drinking for 100 days.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now the only glitch in that project is the cat on the mat at the end of the project.
Yep.
That if it was someone like me, and my thing was, there has to be a condition in there, because there's no, this is in 100 days, I can't observe it, a cat on the mat.
Mm-hmm.
I can't observe it, but there would then have to be a condition in there. So, okay, there's 100 days left between now and December. Let's just say that was the case. And
Okay.
and now it's day 31 and I drank. What happens to the project?
Yeah, that's a good question.
So there's kind of questioning when you're creating a project, you have to ask yourself all of these, does it meet all of these conditions?
Mm-hmm.
Because after 31, I drank, is the project over? am I now going to coach you for the next 100 days? Or
Mhm.
is the project, I don't know. So that's the cat on the mat.
Right.
Okay, tell me what you see now, Patty.
Well, you know, maybe so part of for those of you who aren't familiar with 12-step recovery, part of the process is going through some steps that prescribe some certain actions. And maybe the cat on the mat is working with a sponsor through these steps, and maybe by December it's not realistic to get through 12, but maybe pick a number that's realistic and, you know, have a sponsor confirm, yes, she did these steps. I was there and she worked them with me.
So then you can see then the project is in 100 days of sobriety.
Right.
Now the project just changed.
Right. Well, and I'd have to check with her. It's not my project.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But
but what I'm giving you is, if you have some distinctions about the criteria of projects, you wouldn't accept certain things as projects.
Right.
And you'll then know if it's coachable or not coachable.
Right.
Thank you, Patty.
Good.
Anyone
Thank you,
else?
Claudette.
You're welcome, dear. Anyone else? Question, clarification? Can you see something? Because later you're going to have to measure this all on your projects and the project of the person you're coaching.
So I still don't understand why like health or fitness goals could not be a project, because I feel like that could be observable and there could be concrete actions, like I'm going to go to the gym this often.
I never said that health or, I never said that.
Okay. Okay, I misunderstood then.
Bonnie, what was like diet, around feeling better around that. I think the health and fitness could
loss?
be losing weight, but the diet part of I'm going to eat healthier, that's not necessarily a project.
No, that can be a project, because there's an action you're going to perform that you didn't perform before.
So as long as there's clear actions that are going to be taken and that's like being tracked and observable, then that could be a project.
Yeah, with measurable results, something that you can see.
Okay, yeah, so I completely misunderstood that last time, but I got it now. That makes more sense.
Okay, something else about projects. Anything else, any other questions? Because I'm going to move on. Now, a project has a project, what do you call this? It's not a routine, but a process. A project is a process. It has a process. And how do you make things come into existence in a project? So when you first, someone says a declaration. So is Lizette on the phone?
Yes.
Yes.
Lizette, I'm going to work with you right now.
Okay.
Okay. When I don't know, I don't think you were born then, but whatever. But so you can imagine, when President Kennedy said No, you weren't born because he said it in the 60s. But anyway, so imagine this. Okay, wait. Yeah, imagine when President Kennedy said, we will have a man on the moon before the end of this decade. So imagine that. What was the condition? What was there? So we know there wasn't a man on the moon.
Mm-hmm.
So what was there for him to say that?
A moon.
There was a moon, and what else?
Mm-hmm.
And what else?
A flying object.
That they not necessarily a flying. There was a flying object, but not one that could get to the moon. Else he wouldn't have said that so far out. He'll say, tomorrow we going to the moon.
No, but what I mean is like there was something flying in the space, or in the air, that I was like, okay, if we can get to the air, if we can go from one country to another country, why can't we go further away?
That's right. Right. There was a little bit of evidence that flying was possible.
Yes.
Like he couldn't have said that before the Wright brothers.
Right.
Oh, by the way, the Wright brothers are the people who they claim invented the airplane, but you really needed aeronautics in place had to be in place before the Wright brothers could even say what it said. But there was some sufficient condition in place for him to see, and I'm trying to get for you to say something. I don't want to say it. Something else was in place with Kennedy and his team. Anybody? Anybody?
Yeah, I saw. What I'm present to is possibility. That he saw that it was possible.
Exactly. That was in place. All of the evidence and stuff weren't in place. Some things were in place, but everything wasn't in place. Just the possibility of it being in place, of it happen was in place. So the project starts in possibility. Now, how solid is possibility? Like, let me see. Somebody answer the question and from the way you answer the question, I will determine if I ask the right question. You understand? I don't know if you understood what I said, but that's the best question I have right now. And from your speaking, I'll be able to tell where I'm off in my question. So, Lizette, what was the shape of the possibility? What was, yes, start from there and then I'll see where I have to shift to.
Okay, can you repeat the question because I'm not clear?
Me neither. I'm clear, but I don't know how to articulate it. What was the condition of the environment that the possibility was standing on? And if anybody understood that question, go for it.
So this is Dickie. That the possibility from Kennedy's perspective was solid, but for everybody else, they thought that was impossible.
Okay. Anyone else have a stab at answering that question? Pablo, let me hear you. What is Tavo doing?
Hold on,
How
go
do
ahead.
you- oh.
I got you unmuted.
Don't tell
Go
me
ahead,
in
Tavo.
Spanish, Tavo, neither, because I'm not going to understand the hell what you're saying.
I'm thinking.
Okay. Who else would I think could answer this question? Patty?
So I don't. Okay, I'm gonna let go of trying to have the right answer. I'll just speak to what I'm present to when I think of that that time. Kennedy had like a resolve and a conviction, like a big commitment to this project because of what else was going on politically in the world, and so I think that in a way that what was going on politically garnered a lot of support for the project financially and in Congress and everything. So I would say what was present with the possibility was his commitment and the commitment of the people on his team to realize the possibility.
That's an excellent answer. And in all projects, and that's when one is committed, when you're committed to the outcome, the cat on the mat of the project, then you know whose project is it. So commitment has to be in place, but the environment that the environment that I'm talking about, it wasn't very strong. You had no evidence. There was not enough matter, not enough concreteness. You guys following what I'm saying yet?
Yes.
No.
Okay.
No. Okay.
Claudette, can I enter a little bit?
Absolutely.
What I'm hearing is the background to creating possibility. That possibility shows up. What I'm hearing you ask is, what is in the background that has possibility show up?
No. I'm in front of that question. Now that possibilities show up, what do you have?
Is when you believe in the project, that you have the ownership that is yours.
Okay, you have the ownership, but the condition is you have, if there was a concrete and a sponge, you have sponge. Nothing is solid. Can you see that you don't have a solid foundation? Okay, so let's say I'm going to work with a project. If I say I'm going to create a project, I'm going to have men on the moon. Do I have all the pieces in place already?
No.
Or do I have a lot of space that I have to get solid?
There's
Space.
a lot of unknowns. Like, you have no idea how to get that person to the moon.
That you have some idea. You have some idea, but you don't have it all figured out.
Right.
And it's not solid. Everybody can see that's important before we move on. Diane, where are you? Are you following us? If you are talking, you're on mute.
I'm following.
Okay, what about you, Smiley?
Yes, I'm following.
Thank you, sweetheart. So it's a sponge. It's not there. So right now, I'm gonna, Patty, you were in the midst of enrolling mentors. The women in Rockland, they're in the midst of enrolling mentors. I'm gonna keep the the Moon Project exact and the enrolling mentors or enrolling young people or raising money, all of those things are the same projects. They have the same exact process to fulfillment. You start out with most of the time you start out with nothing. A person get it who wants to get a job. They have the possibility, they have a commitment, but they don't have a job. You start out with nothing, with very little or nothing. Everybody clear?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm defining what it is to have a breakthrough project in this environment. So in order to get it from hardly nothing, like a sponge, to some solid foundation, that's the first stage of the project. And we call that stage concentration. Now, what's very important in projects is in the beginning, you have to do a lot of actions consistently. If you raising money, getting the people for the moon, you have to have a lot of meetings frequently with a lot of people performing a lot of actions. It is concentrated. It is not watered down. When you create a project, this is the beginning of the creation of the project is the most intense period of your project. And we call that state a state of concentration. It's necessary to have actions that you have to perform. So let's go back to Kennedy, Lizette. If Kennedy said, I'm going to get the people to the moon, and then he had a meeting this month, and then next week he had another meeting, and then maybe 2 weeks from now he had a meeting. That's one scenario. Or he had meeting, action, meeting. Which project will formulate, we're calling this formulation concentration. Which project will formulate fastest?
I would say the second scenario.
Right.
It's enrolling. I think part of that is enrolling others into believing the possibility. Get on the boat with
that's you. That's in there, but it keeps you enrolled and engaged in the project. Because the way the universe works, Ade, how do you say like the thing, oh my God. Like, there's a word, but I'm going to say this. Given there's no project there from the beginning, the longer you take to go into concentration, the more likely the project will disappear. And it disappeared because there's not enough energy around it to keep it in existence. It's the same as the drinking or the weight. If I don't go to the meetings, or you know, in the 12-step program, in the beginning you do 90 and 90, but if you do 9, you take a whole year to do 90 meetings, and not the 3 months that you do 90 meetings. There's a different outcome, and And if you don't go to a meeting, meeting makers make it. I know that 12-step stuff. Meetings makers make it. You don't go to the meeting, it's possible for you to start drinking again.
Mm-hmm.
You don't call your sponsor. You don't make those calls. And the reason in the 12-step program for you, Patty, they do 90 and 90 in the beginning, it's the state of concentration.
Got it. That makes sense.
Yeah, for all of our projects, there has to be something that the person is doing in a concentrated step so that the project can begin to have form. So if a mentor is managing a young person and the project is, I'm going to increase my grade point average, and the thing is, what are you going to do today? What are you going to do today? What are you going to do today? The more action steps that the person does in a concentrated place at a time, the project then becomes real and goes into the next state, in which we call momentum. The eagle didn't want to lift the weights because it was too hard and in the beginning. But you have to go to the gym and do this thing and practice thing all the time until it's in your body. Okay, I'm going to pause for a second and say one more thing about this. It is very disappointing to me. This is me speaking. When it's the end of the program, or it's the second year program, and they may have increased their grades, they may have stopped drinking, but it's very disappointing and I think I fail when they have not an ability to give and keep their word. And that's inside of a project, that's the part that we're managing.
But would you repeat that? It came up fuzzy. The ability to do what?
Give and keep their word. I promise I'm going to do this. I promise I'm going to do this. I promise I'm going to... And using the language. What's your promise? What's your promise? What's your word? What's your promise? That's what we're in business for. To have people be able, it's why is it in 7 months, mentors and mentees promise to come, be on time, do this, do that, and they still are in the condition of being late and we didn't keep we're missing something. And it happens in the mismanagement of projects. Okay, I'll stop talking. Questions, feedback, comments? How is this landing? What do you see?
Well, this is Dickie. What it sounds like the project, the source of the project is giving and keeping your word. That by the end of the project, that's really that's really the creative, that's the engine that makes all this work.
Yeah, and that's the only reason we're having projects. Because we have to have a way for them to master, I can do what I said I would do, and if I don't, I know how to get back on track.
Yeah. And that way the moon project or cleaning out a closet or starting a business or whatever it is, all those projects are based upon this being the source of giving and keeping your word. So it's just, the project is just a vehicle for that, like you said, for that to take effect and go through the stages of concentration into momentum and so on and so forth. And then the rest of the distinctions are inside of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I say.
Thank you. Excellent. Who else?
For me, state that a project is not to do, is to do something different. And what I get right away comes to my mind is the eagle story. And when the eagle decide to fly without no evidence, but she got something. So the eagle saw that other eagles were flying and she couldn't fly, but she did not say it, or he did not say it, I'm gonna stop pushing the other chicken. So he did not work and stop doing something, but he, instead of start creating to exercise his weak wing in order to fly. So when I did the analogy where you're talking about projects, and I was thinking about the eagle story, get very, very clear to me.
Yes. Yeah. Now you can see what the eagle story is the setup for. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if, one of the things that I'm very certain is that people don't use the language of our curriculum when you're coaching people in our curriculum. People who use in the curriculum, I don't think you guys practice using the distinction. If you ever notice, I'm only ever using the distinctions with you guys. Mm-hmm. I'm listening for them and I'm speaking from them. I'm not using Burger King. I'm not using Big Brother's distinction. I'm not using any other school of thought distinctions, but these school of thought distinctions, because this is what we want them to have mastery in.
Right.
I'll use the 12 steps distinction, or I'll use any other distinctions that I know you use, but I'll bring it back to our distinctions because this is what we're in the business of. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And if you don't use these distinctions with the people you're coaching, and one of the reasons we put them through the residential with the mentors, so that we have a body of distinctions that we share, and that's what we're speaking. You know, we have people coming in, they have degrees, they're psychologists, they're social workers, they come from churches, theological schools and stuff, but we can't use any of those distinctions here. This is our brand, our school, and this is what we're measuring for effectiveness. But if everybody, this is not vegetable soup, this is just butter squash, which happens to be my favorite soup if anybody ever wants to make some soup for me. Lizette, let me hear from you.
I'm here.
And then I'm coming for you, Veronica, Victoria.
Well, what I keep getting is, or how I relate it. So I'll give you an example. For me is when I'm in school, I have to do homework in a library because that's being in that environment is what works for me, because otherwise I'm not engaged in the, so I can relate that to the concentration, that I'm engaged with people that are doing similar things that I'm doing. And I, speaking of the eagle story is having people that are engaged. Hold on, puppy.
Answer him, please. Answer him.
He wants to show you his toy. That's what he wants to do.
Okay. Everybody say good. Let him show them the toy.
Show them your toy, papi. Enséñaselos aquí.
Emmanuel is going to show the toy.
Yay, Manuel.
Look at that.
Go eat.
No.
Okay, don't eat.
Mommy. It's a butter.
I won't. I'll go later. Okay.
It's butter.
Yeah, I'll go later, papi.
Listen to Patao.
Okay, Lizette, come back now. Thank you.
Hold on. Sorry about that.
Okay, not a problem.
Okay. So having people engage in what your project is and what you're committed to allows you to, or allows me to work in my to stay in the project. And it's very clear now. I can see it is very clear of this is not something that I'm gonna stop doing. Is what are the steps that I'm gonna work on for now on to achieve that project. Because I do
Okay.
get sometimes it's like this is I have to stop, but it's not a stop. It's practice something new to get there.
Yeah. I've had a housekeeper in my life since 1980. So that's like 25 years old. I've always had a housekeeper. And the reason I have a housekeeper without any shame is they have a skill. They have a skill that I don't have, and I have skills they don't have. So I don't have any shame about being having a housekeeper. I sometimes have to clean up my space before the housekeeper comes. But when I make a project, when I'm in momentum, which is the next stage of the project, I have this game that I play from time to time for months at a time. And it's almost like the drinking project or the weight loss project. I play this game called 10 and 10. And that means I put away 10 things every morning and 10 things every night. And it could be things like I drank some water at night, and in the morning I'm going to put it in the kitchen, and I'm going to put it in the kitchen, little things. But I'm telling you, when you play 10 and 10 for a long time, your house stays clean. So like even if you light the incense, and then you have to keep looking for little things let me clean up the ashes from the incense. However, whenever I stop playing that game, like I start eating again or I start drinking again, I lose the practice and I don't have the result any longer.
Mm-hmm.
And my sense of myself isn't nice. And that's how come I don't pick those things as projects, because the end of a project is that the project goes into momentum and it begins to have a life of its own. And now we're going to talk a little bit about the law of vibration. When you're in concentration, when you're in formulation, you have low vibration. I wish you could see my hands, but you can't. You have low vibration. You go in concentration. Your hands my hands are going really, really fast, like energy, and it's attracting at a different level, and it will attract things that, because the momentum is so high and the vibration is so high, it will attract things to you that you didn't expect before. Vicky, or are they, which not Dickie, which what am I, which, where are your words, Claudette? I don't know the word, so here it is. When one is committed, what's possible? Dickie, what's the quote? Yes, what quote is this that we use in our curriculum?
Oh, what once you're committed, Providence moves towards?
That's right.
Yeah.
And that's in the state of momentum. Dickie, send everybody that quote later.
Okay.
Because the unexpected happens, and you begin to attract what, like, if you're raising money, somebody that you didn't even have on your radar sends you money, and it begins to be a lot less doing and more results. When you're in concentration, you get less results. You see less results because the results come in small. But then in momentum, which is the next stage, you see the results happening, and you get support. The project begins to have momentum. What most people do when projects reach momentum, like I said, when I do my 10 and 10 project, the worst thing you could do when you create momentum is to what? Relax.
Mm.
Once you relax, the project slips back a stage, and you will have to go back into concentration. If you relax too long, the project is in danger of going out of existence. No, the project is an emergency. It's like, oh my God, there's something I could do right now. If I don't do this right now, it's gone. And if you wait too much longer, the project is in danger of going out of existence. And then it goes out of existence, and all that means is you stop doing what you were doing that was working. Oh, Lord. I wish I could be here forever. I love these kind of conversations. Okay, questions. What do you see? Not a question. What do you see? How can this impact what you've been doing? What did you hear newly?
I guess one thing I'm hearing, Claudette, in terms of the project, the breakthrough project I'm working with my person on, is how I can use the distinctions of the program even inside of another program, like not, so it's not, it's still, we're still, I don't know if we're McDonald's or Burger King, but it still are you distinctions, and holding those other actions as weak wing development opportunities.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that,
exactly.
and that so anytime there's an impulse to drink, that is drinking then would be the strong wing, and that the weak wing would be a whole list of other tools that come out of that other program, and that the person, so I can actually coach around this process so that the person understands that there's some intensity required in the beginning in order to build the momentum to give the project, because otherwise it's just a struggle. Like right now it's like it's like a white knuckle experience, right? And so using the tools of our program about you got to, remember the Eagles got to go to the gym and work out every day. before flight can happen.
And remember, it was only when the eagle went to fly and got their coach, because the farmer in the first time really had empathy for this eagle that thought he was a chicken, but it didn't make a difference to
Right.
flying.
Right. Yep.
And I'm afraid that you people are nice people with a lot of empathy for people.
I suffer
But
from that.
empathy makes no commitment to results.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking that I said to somebody in the past, I cannot coach you any longer. And it's because you, and a phrase that Claudette always used to say in our program, she said, I cannot work harder in your life than yourself. And sometimes I believe that I cannot coach people when they are not into the game any longer. Some people, they can start strong, but after that, they don't want to put what they have to do in their life. But as a coach, I think that it's important that we realize that we cannot work harder than them. So when they're not ready to exercise, it's nothing that I can do as a coach.
Yeah, that's what the coach said to the eagle. You're wasting my time. So that's all I'm going to talk about. Go ahead.
I have a question. So it's part of our job as coaches engage them into bringing them back to what they were committed to and why they were committed at the first place for that project.
Okay, so thank you. We're going to leave projects and go to coaching. My recommendation, hold on, let me get my notes. You will receive this. Veronica and I already worked through all of these points. The first thing I do is ask the person, and sometimes when I forget to ask this question and the conversation becomes a struggle, it was the evidence that I didn't ask this question from the beginning. I assumed something. So the question I would ask is, who am I speaking to? Like, who am I speaking to? Am I, when they all leave the residential, they make a declaration of who I am. And the people that you're not coached, that haven't had a declaration, you want to know, who am I speaking to? Am I speaking to the person committed to their project or not? You'll find some other way you can put some other words, but you need to find out from the beginning of the conversation, who am I speaking to? Oftentimes, I ask people, I get them present, and I can ask them, is there anything that you're thinking about that won't allow you to have this conversation? But there are different ways to do this, but you have to do that at the beginning of each of your coaching calls. Who am I speaking to? Even if I called you on time, I may not call you in time inside of my bigger commitment.
Yeah, I got it.
Because if they're speaking inside of the circumstances of running their lives, there's nothing you can say or do.
Mm-hmm.
My children are doing this. I'm in the background. I have all these complaints, and I get on the phone, and now I haven't distinguished myself as the declaration of my project in this moment. The the management part of being a coach. This is very critical. The last time we spoke, I'm talking to you as though we were, I'm coaching you. You said you would do X, Y, Z. I have a habit, I have a good memory, but I also have a habit of writing down what people said they were going to do. Because I'm their coach, so I'm committed to their action. And that's what the beginning of the conversation will be about, the past, so that I know who's standing in the present. You said you would do this. You said you would do that. You said you would do this. How did it happen? And that's what we're practicing, so that people could begin to see the only thing that they're going to have is what they did from what they said they would do. Remember, there are only two R's. There are only two things you can have in life, and they both start with the letter R. The results
Or the
or
reason.
the reasons why not. And I think you guys are very nice people, except for me and Smiley Diane. We roll our eyes a lot when people give us the reasons why not. We're like, oh boy. Right, Diane?
Yeah.
Well, those reasons. That's why I don't like coaching people, because they're not ready for me. So if we have a distinction and a practice that most of you don't use. In New York, it's called Restoring Trust. In San Jose, it used to be called Back on Track. I don't care what you call it. I know you don't use those distinctions. And the powerfulness of using the distinctions, you know, I did what I said I would do. That's acknowledgement, an accomplishment. I didn't do what I said I would do. Okay, you got to, that's the whole work. What instead, and what most of you want to do is to create new promises. You can't create new promises unless the old promises are complete in action or complete by declaration. So if you know, and the distinctions in Back on Track and Restoring, is that were you winning at winning or winning at losing? It was, what was the opponent saying to you? So they get, if you use the distinctions, they'll hear, oh, I didn't do that because this is what I said. Was that player or opponent? Okay. But if you, again, if you're not clear who you're speaking to, they'll try to enroll you in a bunch of stories. And the other thing I know about you people, except for the new people, Diane and Dan, I don't know this about them, but I know this about the rest of you. You love whatever you've been doing, calling coaching, you like doing it. So whatever you've been doing, you like doing it, and you can be even more powerful if you use the distinctions. I know the other Diane, this Diane with one N and Diane with two N's, double N. She likes what she's doing because she's even certified as a life coach and so I know you people like talking to people and thinking you got the answers for people, but you don't have any answers for people. You have a bunch of distinctions in which they'll discover something for themselves. Okay. Talk to me. What do you see? What do you hear? You guys have me for the next 25 minutes, so use me.
This is Diane with one N. Are you,
Okay.
are you, are you saying that I'm going to be coaching somebody as well, or somebody's going to be coaching me?
We're all coaches.
Oh, okay.
When you're speaking with the parents, you're going to be, what we do, we call coaching. Everybody coaches. Now you'll know when I say to you guys, send me the Excel sheet. I'm asking you to send me the Excel sheet so that I could be responsible as your coach to your commitment, so I can see what I'm working with. A coach has a lot of accountability. I'm a coach because I'm accountable and I'm standing for your success in this curriculum, even when you forget who you are. I'm standing for you. I will promise I will not abandon you until you choose not to have a project. In that case, I'm not abandoning you. We call it complete. But we are all coaches. Listening for and speaking from the distinctions. And that's how come you're on the phone, is because this is your second year, and now it's time to be inside of this curriculum and this program and how it really works.
Okay.
Okay.
Claudette, this is Dickie.
Yes, dear. And Veronica, Victoria, I want to hear from you.
Okay, what I'm present to is that whatever I have as coaching, that could be my strong wing, and that coming from where what we're saying, this new style of coaching, that through discovery and being a stand, and that for me is where I would be a weak wing. Was I would have I'm present to that. I might, when you said that how we've been coaching, we really like the way that we're doing that, a smile came on my face, like, oh, like I know I've been operating like, oh, I have the answer and that's how I make a difference and all that, but it's not necessarily giving them power, giving them the ability that's within them to do that. And I can see that habit showing up, and so I'm present to letting that go and looking at coaching in a new way. That's what I'm present to.
Thank you. Yeah. Veronica, Victoria?
So I think in coaching, obviously, we, just as you nailed it on the head, I think many of us are very empathetic with people and feel uncomfortable with holding them accountable. And I think that's definitely a triumph for many of us. But really being able to have that discussion with them regarding what they have, what they're committed to and what they've promised is really going to make the difference, and really consistently staying on it instead of pulling away from it, and really going back to and listening from a place of the action items they're going to take, and also holding them to that. And that really does make a difference when you can go back to somebody, because just as you mentioned, sometimes they forget, or, you know, and sometimes we can forget. So making sure that you're staying with them to create that to where they know that you are standing for them for what they're trying to accomplish. And that also demonstrates to them that you've been listening and that you are there committed to them. That makes a difference.
Thank you. I would just change one word. You said holding them to that. And I'm saying holding them as that. Mm-hmm. Holding them as that they are the possibility of all possibility, that they are holding complete. They have the ability to take every action that they said versus holding them to that, which is a whole different mood.
As a possibility.
Right. Holding them as that is totally different than holding them to that. When you guys said coaching is inspiring people, you don't have to, the only thing you have to do to inspire people is holding them as the possibility of possibility. Because they will pick up on your energy. There's no negative judgment there. But when you don't hold them as the possibility of possibility, you become some kind of authority. And that's not inspiring.
Right.
So maybe before you get on the phones or when you're coaching people, maybe, and we used to do this a long time ago, you need to get clear who are they going to speak to? Am I coming to this call right now being whole and complete, or am I, I could tell the difference when I get on the phone with someone and I'm like, oh, this person again, and I try to coach them. By the time I get off the phone, I hate me. It's like, oh, I don't like how I feel, and I know that I generated everything in my body. I did that. Okay. Bonnie, what you got?
So backing up a little bit earlier, but the thing that's standing out for me
Hold on.
now.
Bonnie, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, I can. But if you could just do a little louder. I'm at a place with like 12 women. Like, oh my God, you know how women are? And somebody just came in, so they even cackling louder. Oh my God.
Okay. The thing that makes the biggest difference for me that is backing up a little bit what you talked about, what energy you're vibrating at, and how sometimes things will just fall into place and things will come to you, and at other times not, right? So I can really feel the difference sometimes, like everything is just falling into place. I'm getting support. And then
so what state would you say you're in when that is happening? What term did I use?
I don't know what term.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. We have to begin to use the distinctions. I call that a state of momentum.
State of momentum, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So sometimes I'm in that state, and then other times it's like everywhere I go, like doors slamming in front of my face, like no. And sometimes the change can happen so rapidly, and what I'm lacking and I need to develop is awareness of what I'm doing that's shifting that for me.
Okay, you're having a different conversation than what I was having.
Yeah, but you asked what's there for me. I mean, that's what's there for me. But if you want to go back to coaching, everything's fine. I'm clear.
Coaching or projects, yeah. But I just want you to know you were using similar words, but I was in a different story.
Yeah, I guess it's just that there's nothing really there for me in the second one. I mean, with the coaching.
Okay, great.
Distinctions, there's nothing
Great.
there for me.
Okay, great. No problem. I just want to check in with everyone. Diane, double N, tell me what you're hearing and listening so far in this conversation today.
I hear a lot. I understand with the project of the not drinking part, and if I can touch on that, if that's okay. Is that all right?
Yeah, honey, go ahead.
Okay, on the drinking part, it's not so much about the person. When you're coaching somebody, it's not about what they're doing, not the habit. It's where do they want to get to. So if that person that's drinking is unable to get jobs, unable to get education.
Okay, hold on, Diane.
Yeah.
What do you, in this?
Well, just the point is just finding that project that what do they want to accomplish in life, and in order to accomplish it, they're gonna have.
Okay, no. I know what you're saying. Hold on. Who are you?
In general.
No. Let me finish my question. Let me finish.
Okay.
So how I like you to speak. Everything you're saying is, are you reiterating what I said? I don't know.
Yeah, just just clarifying a lot of it, just like.
Okay, go. Okay. I didn't know I didn't know how to listen.
No.
Okay, great, got that.
Yeah.
No, okay, I got it.
Great. So it's that thing, just being where the person's at. As far as being a coach, I've been doing it for a lot of years, and just going in and knowing that my agenda is not their agenda, and their agenda is not my agenda. My job when coaching somebody is to help them to get to where they need to get to and where they want to get to, and being, like everybody's been saying, being accountable for that, and helping them to accomplish that is just being kind of like the cheerleader in the corner saying, you're doing great. It's encouraging, it's coaching.
But Diane, I'm saying that and a lot more. I'm saying that we have a language, and I think for someone like you, you're at the disadvantage because you said you've been coaching for a long time. So like you're at McDonald's. Happy birthday to you. You've been coaching for a long time, but you haven't been using our distinctions. So you may be at a disadvantage, although you may have a bigger picture, but the disadvantage is now you have to learn, let's see, salsa and merengue looks almost the same, but they're different. Burger King, McDonald's.
Okay.
So the practice for you would be using our distinctions.
Right. So I don't have a copy of any of that stuff. So I know you said that there's a curriculum, but it's the first I'm hearing of the curriculum. So
you went through the curriculum last year.
Oh, okay. So it's not something that I can read or like that's tangible.
No, it's a being curriculum.
Okay.
It's a being. And when you and I work together, that's where I talk to you from.
Okay.
Okay. Cool beans. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Another thing that has to be established in the coaching relationships, believe it or not, are the conditions of winning. How are we going to work together? How are we going to work together? When, conditions are, let's tell the truth to each other. If we have a scheduled call and if this call isn't going to work at that time, what's the time? Do you have 24 hours in advance to reschedule? Whatever it is, you and that person have to come up with the conditions of winning for you guys to work with each other. And that's a distinction of ours. That's way in the background when you're working with people. I think it was Zed or someone else in the beginning said projects have an element of enrollment in it, that they have to enroll others to support them or to assist them. I'm looking, my project is to have a job. However, it's not your job to work on the resumes with them. I know you would love to do that.
Guilty.
Your job is to have them discover someone that can help them with their resume. You're the coach. What you want them to do is you learn to have a bigger, I think my definition of a powerful person, and I consider myself a powerful person according to my definition. My definition of a powerful person is a person that has all these resources, far-reaching resources that are never stuck. I can call somebody and go, boom. But if I only have my coach, only have one or two people I can ask for support, I will never be a powerful person. Your job is to have their world of resources expand. You guys following that?
Yep.
Yes.
Huh?
I said yes. Sorry, I have you guys in mute, so I have to keep going back and forth.
Okay. So which is another part of the distinction. Okay, so that person helped you with your resume. Then the other part that you guys get at the residential is acknowledgement and appreciation. The more people, the more a person can appreciate and acknowledge other people, the more they are able to make requests of other people. People can't make requests of other people because they don't have a sense of appreciation. So you end the projects as they are getting support from other people. Use the practice of, did you acknowledge and appreciate them? And appreciation is thank you for doing that for me, because when they'll say thank you, but they don't do appreciation, which is a total different distinction. Because according to us, because when you did that for me, So it's, again, the coaching is using the distinctions. If you're not using the distinctions, I don't know what you're doing. Okay. Ade, qu'est-ce que c'est? I have 6 minutes. What do you want from me? Or did I do what we said we would do? Did I leave anything out?
We could embellish on the stages, the project management model. Project management stages, Claudette. I think you got to emergency. So you say more.
No, I did them all, but I did them fast. From formulation to concentration to momentum to danger, to emergency and to danger.
Wait, can we get that again, Claudette?
You're going to get it.
Okay.
Okay, I'll say it right now, and then I'll give it to you. But and the last two I may have a little confused, but I know. So here it is. The project is in formulation. In formulation, you're going to be determining what is the project and what are the conditions of workability for us to work together. Then you're going into concentration, which is then on your part, there's more check-ins, and check-ins don't have to be, fortunate today we have texts and emails, because there's, I say they have to do at least 3 to 5 things a week in concentration. I went to the meeting, I called my sponsor, That's 5 things. So and check in, and that's part of working together. How do we report back when you said you were going to do something? And that's really important. If I said I was going to do something on Tuesday and I didn't do it, and my call with you isn't until next Monday, I know I probably am off the horse. Oh, we haven't done that distinction. I'm probably off the horse and haven't gotten back on. So how do you get back on the horse? Between coaching times. Then that's concentration and momentum. The project determines when you're out of momentum. You know you're out of momentum when it becomes almost like a habit, and things are flowing, and sometimes unexpected gifts just drop in. And then it goes to, let's see, emergency, huh?
Go ahead.
Huh?
That interrupts the momentum, yes.
Momentum, and then emergency. And emergency is something that you could fix right now. And it's the coach's job to know what the stages of the project is. And and then the next stage is danger. And what happens in danger, if it's a project like somebody's doing a project for you, like you're at work or something, and they're doing a project for you, when the project gets to danger, you actually push the person out of the way and you take over, because the project is getting ready to crash. It's the coach's job is responsible for knowing the stages. I'm going to tell you what most people have a difficulty with me in. And the stages are parallel with the levels of competency from beginner, momentum, minimal competent. They're parallel. They run at the same time. When a project is in emergency and you're competent as a coach in how to fulfill that project, most people, remember, don't know. Most people know a tiny little bit about something and think they know it's a lot. Even if it's their first time doing it and you've been doing it for 25 years, they think they know more than you. Where I get in trouble with people is I could see the breakdown coming way before them, because I've been down this track. And they want to listen as, she's a pain in my butt. She's this, she's that. But that needs to be established in the conditions of winning, that I am the coach, particularly when I'm a coach of something that I've done before. I can hear your recommendations, but I'm not going to have you teach me.
Claudette, can I ask a clarifying question? Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
So so the project stages are formulation, concentration, momentum, and am I hearing that emergency and danger are, it would seem to me that those are things that would disrupt the momentum, right? They're not like the next stage after momentum is emergency, right?
Well, when you stop emergency and danger can happen in any one of those three stages.
Okay.
It can happen in the background of if you say there are three stages, when emergency and danger happens, you're sliding backwards.
Mm-hmm.
So when you lose momentum, you go back into concentration. You lose concentration, you're back in formulation.
Mm-hmm.
Diane, thank you very much for being on the call. I only asked them to be on the call until 1 o'clock, and I know they're looking at their watches and shit.
Thank you. No, I'm actually just standing on a street corner right now. So it's okay.
Oh, you could have gone to my office. But anyway.
Claudette, can I ask one last question?
Wait, I'm going to stay on. Stay on. I'm just letting them go.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Thank you. And I'll speak to you women on Tuesday. Thank you very
for
much.
allowing us to participate. Bye.
No allowing. Your staff. Bye. Okay, go ahead, Patty.
Yeah, so is momentum the final stage, or where does the project, where do we declare
Well, actually, there's another stage called breakthrough.
Okay, yay.
And it's called breakthrough, and it breaks through to something unimaginable. And we call that also, it goes into flood, is more than you can handle. And what most of us do is stop the breakthroughs because we can't manage it. I think I did that with Youth at Risk. It got so big. I had 20-something staff people. I think that I didn't know how to manage the flood. The same structure that put it in existence was insufficient for what was possible. And it takes you back to formulation. I just kept doing more, better, different. Okay. Any other questions? I'm going to see if I could jump back on after. When do they come back from lunch and the small group work?
Let's see. We're going to take a break now for 20 minutes, and then we will come back from lunch. Lunch is scheduled.
When is lunch over?
12:30.
That's my 3:30. I'm going to see if I could jump back on. And Lizette, thank you very much for being on the call and from my request. I'm going to go now. It's skinny dipping time, and I want to go skinny dipping. Okay, bye. Love you.
I want to see a picture of that.
Thank you.
Bye, Claudette.
And I'm not sending you pictures of me skinny dipping.
Come on, Claudette, do it.
You can do it, Claudette. I believe in you.
Do it.
Bye.
Okay, on that, let's all take a skinny dip break for 20 minutes.
Okay.
And let's return. It's 10:04.
10:04.
So 10:25. Okay.
Okay.
5. What?
Okay.
We'll be back in 21 minutes.
Okay.
Claudette, no, Ade.
Yeah.
Just a question for you, just to have an idea. Doesn't have to be a specific time. We're coming back in 25 minutes, and then lunch is gonna be 2 hours later.
Lunch will be not quite that long. No, lunch starts around your time, 11:40. Trying to get to about 11:45 for lunch. Okay?
No.
No, not okay.
No, it is okay, but I didn't get it.
Oh, 11:45.
We start lunch?
Yeah.
Okay.
It'll
So
go-
5 minutes break, and then after that, in 1 hour and 20 minutes more, is gonna be a break.
Yes.
We're gonna have a session for 1 hour, 20 minutes, and then we're gonna have break, at least 40 minutes break and lunch.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
See you in 20 minutes. Adios.
Okay.